All right, everyone, welcome. Today, we are diving deep into what is probably the single most foundational skill in learning Mandarin, hearing the tones. And we're not just going to talk about them. Oh, no. We are going to train our ears to truly distinguish them. This is the bedrock that all of your future fluency is going to rest on.
So let's just jump right in. I want you to listen really closely to these two sounds. Okay, here's the first one. Ma. Got it? Now listen to the second one. Ma. Now be honest with yourself. If you're just starting out, the difference might be incredibly subtle, or you might not hear any difference at all.
And you know what? If those sounded the same to you, you are absolutely not alone. In fact, you're in the vast majority. This is, without a doubt, the biggest hurdle for anyone coming from a non-tonal language. But here's the secret. Don't you worry about speaking them perfectly just yet. The real solution, the key, starts with listening. This session isn't a test. Think of it as a workout for your ears.
I like to call this initial challenge the Great Tonal Wall. It can feel massive, impossible to get over at first, but understanding exactly why it is so crucial to climb this wall, well, that's the very first step. Because for real, meaningful communication in Mandarin, getting the tones right is completely non-negotiable. So, here's the core concept we have to internalize. Mandarin is a tonal language. Now, what does that mean? It means the pitch, the highness or lowness of your voice, isn't just for adding emotion or emphasis, like when you raise your voice at the end of a question in English. Nope. Here, the pitch is a core, inseparable part of the word itself. If you change the tone, you literally change the word.
And this slide is just fantastic because it helps you see the shape of the sound. So let's take our time with this. First up, we have the first tone, ma. Hear that? It's high, it's flat, like you're holding a single musical note. Ma. This ma, written with the character ma, means mother. And if you look closely at the character, you'll see the radical for woman on the left side. Okay, next, the second tone, ma. It starts lower and rises up, almost like you're asking a question. Ma. This means hemp, ma. Third, we have the dipping tone, ma. It goes down and then comes back up. Ma. This means horse, ma. And finally, the fourth tone, ma. It's a sharp, decisive, falling sound, like a command, ma. This one means to scold, ma. So you see, one little syllable, ma, can become four totally different words.
And this, right here, shows you just how high the stakes are. This isn't about having a little accent. It's a fundamental issue of meaning. Imagine this. You're at a friend's house and you want to ask, where is your mother? Or, ni de mama在哪里? But you accidentally use the third tone. Well, you've just asked, where is your horse? Ni de ma在哪里? Now, with a good friend, that might get a laugh. But imagine a more formal situation, like meeting your partner's parents for the first time. That kind of mistake can cause some real confusion and awkwardness. So precision here is everything.
Which brings us to the absolute heart of our lesson today. Before you can ever hope to accurately produce these tones in your own speech, you have to first be able to accurately perceive them with your ears. Listening is the true foundation. Everything else is built on top of it.
And hey, don't just take my word for it. This is a key principle in teaching Mandarin. It's a cornerstone of the whole pedagogy. As our source material puts it, these recognition exercises are absolutely critical. They're not just helpful, they're not just a good idea, they are essential for training your brain to build the neural pathways it needs to hear these differences instinctively.
So what is this skill we're actually trying to build? Well, it's called tone recognition, and it's an active cognitive ability. It's the ability to hear a syllable, analyze its pitch shape in real time, and correctly label it as tone 1, 2, 3, or 4. This is a skill you learn and you sharpen through practice, not some talent you're just born with.
The key academic principle here, and it's an unshakable one, is that perception always comes before production. You just cannot say what you cannot hear. Think about it like learning music. You would never expect a violinist to play a C sharp if they couldn't first hear the difference between a C and a C sharp, right? It's the exact same logic. Right now, you are training your ear to hear the essential notes of the Mandarin language.
All right, so now that we've covered the why, let's get into the how. We're going to shift from theory to practice and look at some incredibly effective, proven methods to actively and methodically train your ear.
Okay, let's jump into our first exercise. It's a simple 3-step process that connects sound to movement. And I actually want you to do this with me right now. So,
Step 1. Listen to a syllable. Let's use ta. Step 2. In your mind's eye, see its shape. Is it flat, rising, dipping, falling? And step 3, this is the key, make that shape with your hand. So for the first tone, ta, trace a flat level line in the air. For the second, ta, make a quick upward sweep. For the third, da, a distinct checkmark shape, down then up. And for the fourth, da, a sharp downward chop. Connecting the sound to a physical action like this is an unbelievably powerful way to make it stick in your memory.
Now, let's do a deep dive on the tone that trips up almost every student, the third tone. See, when you learn it in isolation, like the word how for good, it's a full dip and rise, how. But in real flowing speech, you'll almost always just hear the half-third, which is just the low dipping part, without the rise at the end. And here is a crucial, non-negotiable rule called tone sandhi. When you have two third tones back-to-back, like in the most famous phrase in the world, ni, hao, the first one magically changes into a second tone. A beginner will often say ni, hao with two dips. That's incorrect. A native speaker says ni, hao, a rising tone, then a dipping tone. Mastering just this one rule will instantly make your Mandarin sound so much more natural.
And this brings us to a wonderful point. All of this hard work, all this practice, it doesn't have to be a boring chore. In fact, we can make it not just effective, but genuinely engaging and fun. Our second method is to gamify your practice, to turn what feels like a drill into an active challenge.
And once again, this whole approach is based on solid teaching principles. The goal is to create situations with low pressure but high repetition. Just like our source material suggests, simple games where you just listen to a word and write down the tone number are perfect. It's a powerful, effective drill that's brilliantly disguised as a game.
And you can get really creative here. Tone bingo is fantastic because it forces you to recognize tones quickly in a fun, competitive setting. A simple listen and mark drill is your core foundational exercise. And if you're studying with friends, a team tone bee adds this great competitive energy. What all these games do is force you to listen actively and make split-second judgments, which is exactly the skill you need for a real-time conversation.
So here's the cognitive science behind why this all works. The goal of these games is to achieve what we call automaticity. You want to move the skill of identifying tones from your slow, deliberate, conscious brain to your fast, reflexive, unconscious brain. You want it to become as effortless as telling the difference between the sounds B and P in English. You don't think about it, you just know. That's what fluency feels like.
So as we start to wrap up, I want you to remember this one key takeaway. Mastering Mandarin tones has nothing to do with having a good ear or some special innate talent. It is the direct, predictable result of consistent, intelligent, and most importantly, active practice using the very methods we've covered today.
So I'll leave you with this question to get you started on your path. Which method are you going to try first? Are you going to start with the hand gestures to build that mind-body connection? Or maybe you'll jump right into a game of tone bingo. Honestly, the specific choice matters less than the decision to just start. The most important thing is that you start, and you start today. Thank you.